Hey guys, in the last video we talked about the importance of validating the schema of API response. Now if the response is in JSON format, we validate the JSON schema. Likewise, if the response is into XML format, then we have to validate the XML schema definition. Now if you have not watched my previous video on JSON schema validation, then I strongly recommend you to go and check it out, since in there I talked about model, DTO, serialization and deserialization concepts from the API development stand perspective. That would give you an idea why this test case is the most important test case we must design for API testing. Now in this video, we'll be covering these 2 points. Number one, we are going to create the XSD file and put that into the class path, just like we created the JSON schema JSON file and put that into the class path. Okay, so in here, okay, you see this folder JSON schema, and inside that I created these 2 files and pasted those in here. Likewise, I have created some XSD files and place them inside this XSD folder. Then step number 2 is we have to validate the response of our API against this XML schema definition file. Okay, now how do you do it? Well guys, for that you require the method matches XSD in class path. Okay, now this method is a Helmcrest matcher which you can import from io.restassured.matcher.restassured matchers class. All right, so first thing first, we have to create the XSD file. So for that, we open the Postman. Okay, now this is the endpoint. It will return you the single member. Now currently the response is into the JSON format. All I'm going to do is in this accept header, I'm going to change this value from application JSON to application XML. Okay, hit enter. And now you see the response is into XML format. Now first thing is, if you try this on any other endpoint, I'm not taking any guarantee that you will see the XML response. Why? Because your developers have to code this. Okay, what is happening? So model is deserialized into XML now. Okay, and if I change it back to JSON, so the model is then deserialized into JSON, which means that developers have to write some code. Okay, they have to write this deserialization logic. If the deserialization logic to convert the model into XML is present, then only you would see the XML response. This API has got that code and you can generate your response into both JSON and XML. All right, let me change it back to XML. Hit enter and copy this code. Alright, so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open a browser, and in the browser I'm going to say XML to XSD generator. Let's pick anyone. Let's click on this. Paste your stuff in here. Click on generate XSD, and this is going to create this schema for us. Okay, now in here guys, you see we have these different attributes which we see in the response: ID, name and generator, and you also see the data type of these. That's fine, but where are those validations? So let me just first copy this. So this is the file in which you're going to paste it. Guys, then I said that this particular file has to be placed at the class path. Okay, yeah, but in here you see we have this SRC test resources and XSD folder inside which I've created this file. So how would this file move to the class path? Okay, so for that, just do a right click and go to build path and configure build path. Okay, then click on sources. So in here you see this folder already. Okay, and when you build your project, okay, do you see this target classes? Okay, this is where all your files would be pasted. All right, open this target folder. Okay, and now this is the target folder, and in here you have this target classes because we are creating everything inside the test. So you have target classes, and then you have this XSD, and in here you see all those files. All right, so when I'm saying that it has to be placed at the class path, this is what I'm referring to. So I'm gonna make use of the JSON schema code that I've written and would make the necessary changes. So let's paste everything in here. Now instead of application JSON, like I changed that into the Postman, I have to change it here as well to XML. So this would return me the XML response. Great. Then the next thing is in here, now I have to use the XML schema method. Okay, and for that we have REST assured matchers class, like I said. Okay, so as you could see, this comes from io.restassured.matcher.restassured-matchers. That you have this static method which is matches XSD in class path. Now all you have to do in here is provide in the path. Okay, so we have this XSD / name of our file is simple data type single member .xsd. All right. So what are we doing? In before method, we are constructing the request specification, and in here we're just sending that request, and whatever response that we get back on the body, we are validating its schema. Okay, like this. So we save everything and run it. So this would pass, okay, but the limitation here is all that we are doing using the schema is just validating the data type of these attributes. Look at our JSON schema validation. Okay, so I open my JSON schema, and in here, see, we were so extensive. Okay, I said the ID would be of type integer. Okay, it would be a multiple of 1 and the minimum value should be 1. Okay, and same way I mentioned that, okay, the name should be of type string, minimum length 20, maximum length 25, pattern has to be this, meaning only the alphabet should be allowed. And same way in the gender, there was a pattern which says that, you know, it should be either male or female, nothing else. All right. Then in here it talks about, okay, what is the type of the response? It's an object on an array, and same way you define the schema of the JSON schema. Okay, let's extend this particular schema and add the validations as well. So this is the file which contains all the validations. Okay, now let me walk you through. So this talks about the schema that it is following, or the standard you could say. Then you see access element name is equal to response. Here's that response, and inside that, this is a complex element. It has got all these three properties, ID, name and gender, in a particular sequence, right? So we go back and then it talks about, yeah, it's a complex type, and what is the sequence? Okay, now the sequence is, the first element is ID, second element is name, third element is gender. Now instead of just mentioning the type in here, okay, we are going to make it richer, and therefore I have defined my own custom type. Okay, so I'm saying this particular element is going to extend this particular type, ID type, and same way for name and gender, you see those custom types. Now after this, I'm defining these custom types, and I'm making use of restriction in here. So in the restriction, I'm telling the type is this, all right, the minimum value is 1, and the pattern that I've specified it is this, which means that the value has to be in this particular range. All right, then same way you have the string, all right, and minimum length is 4, maximum is 25, and it should only accept the alphabets. And for gender, string, and it should only accept male and female, and then any additional property we just set it to false. All right, so likewise you have to make your schema definition richer. Once that is done, all right, we go back to our test case and we change the schema file name to this. All right, now if we run this, everything would pass, and after that we'll make necessary changes to make sure that our schema comes into picture. Okay, everything passes. So let's start with the ID. Okay, the minimum value is 1, so what I'm doing is I am invoking this particular endpoint with the value -4. All right, and for that I'm gonna make a change to this particular ID. I'm gonna set it to -4. I'm gonna restart my server. All right, and now let's see what would happen. This would definitely fail, because in the response it will see the ID which contains the value -4, which is less than 1. Okay, and you could clearly see in here, because we mentioned, so -4 does not fall into the range this. All right, so it has failed. Great, let us revert to 4 and let's talk about the name. Right, what is the validation we have in place? It is minimum length has to be 4. All right, so I'm just gonna change it to T. Okay, now my XML schema definition will come into picture and fail this. The reason would be very clear in the exception itself, that it does not abide to the schema definition requirement. Okay, right, as you could see, minimum length this is equal to 2, which is not equal to 4. Right, makes sense. And the last one is the gender. All right, so let me change it back to Tina, and in here I say test. I save it. So server is restarted. If I execute my thing again it will fail because test does not fit into the pattern we have specified. Pattern is it only accepts male and female. Okay. Now this is how you're going to validate the XML schema of your API response. I hope you like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.